shrimp, fried oysters, and more, and it's only $5.99. What a treat! 5 to 7 vegetables and meats, a salad bar and dessert, plus shrimp and oysters. And now that famous Madison Surf and Turf buffet you've heard so much about is available Sundays beginning at 5 p.m. My mouth's watering just telling you about it. You owe it to yourself and your family to dine at Madison's New Hope Road, Goldsboro.
This is Andy Andrews at Andy Andrews Olds Nissan in Goldsboro, wishing you and your family the happiest, most blessed Christmas.
The most listened to radio program in Wayne County, and still growing, it's Rush Limbaugh on 1150 WGBR, Goldsboro's very own.
WGBR.
Dornan sitting in for Rush. Read all the press, folks, on the scandal. We'll be discussing it tomorrow at length. Right now, here's a hot one. Just came across the desk. Today, December 21st, Clayton Boyce introducing Al Gore at the National Press Club this afternoon.
The highlight of this contentious battle was the televised debate over NAFTA between Vice President Gore and Ross Perot. The usually wooden and stuffy Gore I thought those were endearing terms also. I'm sorry. Charged out of the gate when the debate began, and most agree Mr. Perot never caught up. We now understand next on Mr. Gore's list is Rush Limbaugh.
You gonna let me talk? Are you gonna let me speak? Work on it. Work on it. Al did take that one. He's my classmate from 76. Now coming up is the most requested musical interlude all year long by Rush Limbaugh and his little Santa Claus helpers, his elves.
You closed your eyes, I was elected. Guess what? You're not protected. And now all my schemes have come true. Hey, I need to invest, so sign over your check, 'cause I'm taxing your money from you. And then you'll be on welfare, but hey, you'll have health care. I'll show you what government can do. And oh, by the way, you'll walk home every day, 'cause I'm taxing that gasoline too. All your money I will tax from you. All your money, I need revenue. You close your eyes, I was elected. Guess what? You're not protected. And now all my schemes have come true. Hey, I need to invest. Just send over your nest, 'cause I'm taxing your money from you. All your money I will tax from you. All your money, I need revenue. All your money, all that money, all that money, send it in.
James Golden and all the guys in New York, just fade out on me here as I go through scandals we may touch on tomorrow. Great day, too. Just bring the sound out. White House Post Office scandal, White House pay scandal, White House Travel Office scandal, Waco and Branch Davidian women and children slaughtered by one M1 tank. You should have been in Somalia. Vincent Foster suicide. Why? White House healthcare.
And now, Black by popular demand. Dr. Walter Williams sitting in for Rush Limbaugh on the EIB Network.
Yes, it's me again. Here I am, Walter E. Williams, back in the Attila the Hun chair located high on top of EIB building, which for you teeny bopper ditto heads out there is located in America's liberal laboratory, New York City. This is going to be a great week, a week of excitement. I, the professor of liberty, I, the professor of limited government and the American way, I'm going to be here all week to close out 1993. Now, some of you remember me from before. Back on September 17th, I was here sitting in the EIB chair. Let me give you a little recap on that. It was a bad day for me. The Clinton administration somehow managed to get me operating only at 57%. I had a bit of a cold. But anyway, that day, it was a great day. The liberals had a fit in our country. And even at 50%, 57%, I proved that congressmen aren't the men that they used to be, because I offered them a standing invitation to call in and challenge any correct assertion of mine. But I can understand why they haven't been calling in, because they've been too busy figuring out ways to rip off the taxpayer. But I want to make another invitation and a direct order to Bo, sometimes called James, that any congressman that calls in, he gets top priority, because I want to talk to him. Now, we're going to have a great week. In the course of this week, I might make one mistake. Now, I know you're used to Rush. Rush does not make any mistakes at all. But if I make one mistake, it won't be my fault. We can just chalk it up to racism and slavery. If I make a mistake, it'll be because of a heritage of slavery. Now I know a lot of white people out there, you're saying, well, here's this guy again making excuses. But I'm fair. I'm fair, because I know when anybody makes a mistake, it's nobody's fault. I mean, take white people of English ancestry. I mean, they used to be nice and non-aggressive. But then back in 1066, while they were out on the beach having a few beers and frolicking with the girls, in comes William of Normandy, taking over their political system and trying to make them speak French. Now, if somebody tried to make me speak French, I get pretty mad, because I took a French class and I got a C in it. And so I can understand why those Englishmen are mad and they act pretty aggressive today. Take the Irish. I mean, the Irish, they can't be blamed for any problems they have, because back in the 1840s, they had this potato famine, and it ran all the Irishmen to America. Now, can you imagine that? My wife, she gets mad about running out of potatoes, and the store is just down the street. Now, so you can imagine how mad and aggressive Irishmen can be if they have to cross the ocean for potatoes. Now, I think every single ethnic group in America has somebody to blame for their problems, so nothing is nobody's fault. Now, this week, I'm going to have some of the finest Americans on EIB, and you're going to have a chance to talk to them. Then there's going to be one economic lesson a day. It's going to be a fun lesson. Now, a lot of you, I know you got your children home for college, and you're wondering what they've been doing in college. Let me give you some college news. And then I'm give you college updates all week. And matter of fact, we're going to have even a special song for college updates. But I was looking at a tape. I was viewing a tape last week, and the tape was by Michael Pack. And the name of the tape was Campus Culture Wars. It was shown at the Cato Institute in Washington, a great place, by the way. And it showed students, freshman students at Harvard University, being forced to sit in a circle, and the facilitator, I don't know whether he was a professor or a grown-up student, maybe a senior or a junior, and he was going around forcing the students to say, I am so-and-so, let's say if I was there, I am Walter and I am gay. Whether you're gay or not, the students were forced to say that. And this was part of sensitivity training, that is, that the students would be sensitive to homosexuals. And then, matter of fact, one terrifying part of this film was there were a number of students, homosexual students, upset with the editor of the Harvard University's alternative newspaper, and they phoned in a threat. That is, they threatened this guy to stick him with an AIDS-infected needle. Now, there's a lot of stuff like this going on college campus. For example, the University of New Mexico, starting the spring, they want to offer a transvestite course. It's going to be taught a whole semester by a transvestite. Now, how come you need a whole semester how come you need the course at all? Then down at Texas A&M, an otherwise excellent college, they are starting a program of requiring students to take ethnicity classes. Then even at my own university, George Mason University, they just handed out a pamphlet a few weeks ago, or maybe last month, telling you how you can be guilty of discrimination so far as sexual orientation is concerned. For example, if you stare at two men holding hands, you can be in violation of the campus regulations against sexual orientation discrimination. If you jump when a homosexual touches you on the shoulder, you can be similarly guilty of violating George Mason University's new code. Now, the very interesting thing about that for all you parents out there, all you students out there, you take a school like Harvard University, they're going to charge you about $25,000. They're not going to tell you that they're going to engage in this nonsense before you pay. What they do, they cash your check and capture your children, and then they engage in propaganda. They change your children. Now, I would urge all you parents thinking about the schools in which to enroll your child that you pay a lot of attention to the school. My colleague has my colleague Tom Sowell, he's written an excellent book. I believe it has titled something like A Guide to Colleges. That shows you what goes on at colleges, and you can pick and choose. And then the National Review recently did a college guide, and you can look at that as well to get a better idea what's going to happen to your children. By the way, I was looking at a clipping, speaking of colleges, and I'm reading from the campus. I believe it's a publication put out by the Intercollegiate Studies Institute. They're based in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania. And we have the Reverend Rodney X of the Nation of Islam. He gave a talk at the Boston College during Black History Month. And he referred, now this is at a college campus, he referred to the founding fathers, and I'm reading as quotes here, cutthroats, robbers, murderers, and thieves. And he went on to say, now I'm going to let you know how these people are thinking. He went on to say that racism is inherent in the United States, and he offered as proof. He gives you two proofs of how racism is inherent in the United States. One proof is, quote, the reason they have a White House and not a black house. That's racism in America. And then Reverend Rodney X also has been quoted as describing the game of pool as being racist. And the reason why, quote, the white ball knocks out all the colored balls into holes from which they cannot escape, close quote. Now, here's taxpayers and parents paying through their nose for this kind of nonsense to go on to college. Now, the average person doesn't know it, but this is where Walter Williams comes in. This is where Rush Limbaugh comes in. We're here to tell you about the undermining of America and this vicious attack on our country by the liberals. And we're going to be back after a break, and I'm going to open the phones. I have a few more goodies to let you know about. There's a front page story about all the killing going on in Burundi, and I just want to spend a minute or two talking about that, and then we're going to open the lines. And then in the next hour, you have to hang on to the next hour, because we're going to have Elaine Donnelly, and she's going to tell us something about the ban on homosexuals in the military. She's going to give us an update on the tailhook incident, and we might even get a little bit of chance to talk about women in the military, and you'll get a chance to talk to her. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Burundi affair.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Let's face it, the number of you people out there sat around lazy, unwilling to take that bold step yourself, and instead were waiting for a subscription to my newsletter to be given to you. Very un-American to sit around and wait for things to be given to you. My friends, you want something, you go out there and get it. So if you didn't get the Limbaugh letter as a holiday present, cheer up. You can still order my newsletter, the Limbaugh letter, 12 pages, packed with my brilliant commentary, searing analysis, humor, and good cheer for only $29.95. What do you get? What does it matter? I do it, and if I'm doing it, you know it's good. Don't worry about the details, because they change every month. I can just tell you this, there are great pictures of me, great interviews. There's nothing like me, and there's nothing like this. You can also get free my official 1994 Rush Limbaugh poster calendar if you subscribe now, but don't wait, do it for yourself. 12 issues, $29.95. Here's a number, 800-457-4141. 800-457-4141. Just make the call.
Do you know there are only 44 sounds in the English language? 44. And when you learn these 44 sounds called phonics, you can read and spell almost everything. That's why Hooked on Phonics is so successful. We've set these 44 sounds to music, making learning to read simple and fun. So get hooked on phonics and take the mystery out of learning to read. Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
From shiver to sizzle, winter to summer, Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil can give you hot-cold protection and everything in between. Inside your car's engine, the temperature can go from winter to scorching summer in minutes. That's the protection Phillips 66 Trop Arctic is engineered for. Just look for Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Motor Oil in the classic gold bottle. Hot-cold protection and everything in between. Available at a Phillips 66 station near you. Phillips 66 products distributed by Griffin Oil Company, 511 South John Street, Goldsboro.
I know you've enjoyed the weekday lunch buffet at Madison's on New Hope Road, but did you know that it's available on Sundays too? And it's even bigger and better. It's the weekday lunch buffet on Sunday, plus steamed shrimp, fried oysters, and more, and it's only $5.99. What a treat! 5 to 7 vegetables and meats, a salad bar and dessert, plus shrimp and oysters. And now that famous Madison Surf and Turf buffet you've heard so much about is available Sundays beginning at 5 p.m. My mouth's watering just telling you about it. You owe it to yourself and your family to dine at Madison's New Hope Road, Goldsboro.
Here's news about a revolutionary product for active people. It's called Ginsana, and it's all natural. Ginsana is the first and only ginseng product scientifically tested for 25 years. Who uses Ginsana? Middle-aged men and women, senior citizens, busy executives, college students, and athletes. No sugar, no caffeine. Ginsana. Now, the people who bring you Ginsana present Garlic brand garlic. Garlic contains almost twice as much allicin potential as any other garlic tablet. That's the ingredient thought to be responsible for garlic's goodness. Garlic's a convenient one-per-day tablet that's odor-free, tasteless, and easy to swallow and digest. Ask for Garlic brand garlic. And remember, for good health, exercise, cut fat and sugar from your diet, and watch your cholesterol and blood pressure. Ginsana and Garlic from SunSource Health Products. SunSource, products that work naturally. At Kmart, GNC, Rite Aid, Eckert, and Revco. For free brochures, call 800-777-2000.
We're back, and this is Walter Williams sitting in for Rush Limbaugh, who's vacationing. Before we went to the break, I mentioned all the slaughter that's taking place in Africa, and there's a front page story in the USA Today, and it's actually today, I believe, and it says the Burundi war toll is 200,000 since October 21st. Well, a lot of people take this as a new thing, but that's been going on for a long time. In 1972, in a matter of a couple months, something like the Watusis slaughtered, including decapitation and dismemberment, something like 250,000 Hutus in a few months. But to put this in context, remember several years ago when you had all the demonstrations in front of the South African embassy, all the liberals were in front of the UN, they were demanding sanctions. Now the fact of the matter is that since 1910, in South Africa, roughly 8,000 blacks lost their lives in civil conflict with the South African government between 1910 and 1980, 8,000 blacks. Now, in 1972, as I suggested, over 200,000 Hutus lost their lives in Burundi and Rwanda. Did you hear anybody marching? Did you hear any petitions in front of the White House? Any calls for sanction? See, with the liberals, it's like this. If blacks are killing other blacks, well, that's okay. We just don't accept that kind of behavior from whites. That is, we hold whites up to higher standards of civility. That is, in a sense, we say, well, white people are civilized, so with that kind of behavior is intolerable from whites. But black people are uncivilized, so it's just, it's everything as usual. Now, the same thing applies to domestic policy in our country. That is, when blacks kill for years, when blacks kill blacks every single night of the week, nobody says anything. But they're just beginning to say something right now, thankfully. But when a white cop would shoot a black kid in the process of stopping him from committing a robbery or some other crime, then the civil rights establishment comes out en masse to protest against police brutality. See, these double standards of race. There's another update for you, too. It's something in news. Actually, this is something a little more domestic, and that has to do with the continuing Clinton scandal out in Little Rock. This is in the Los Angeles Times today. Somebody from Los Angeles faxed this to me, and it's not too clear, so somebody in Los Angeles who reads the paper might tell me. But it seems like this lady, Betsy Wright, went down to Little Rock, and she confronted the state troopers who said that Clinton was in his car fooling around with girls all the time and all hours of the night and hiding from Hillary. Anyway, according to this Los Angeles Times story, she said, quote, "Don't worry about this infidelity stuff," when she was talking to Ferguson. "We can handle that. But this," she was showing them some underlying material in the American Spectator referring to Clinton offering these guys jobs. But she said this could get the man impeached, referring to President Clinton perhaps acting illegally and subsequently being impeached. And Ferguson tried to clarify some of the contradictory statements that he made. He said that he would write out an affidavit meant to say that Clinton did not expressly offer federal jobs for silence, keep him silent about his running around. And Ferguson said that Clinton didn't say those words, but a couple paragraphs down, Ferguson said that Clinton offered him jobs with either the Federal Emergency Management Agency or the U.S. Marshals Service. And Ferguson was willing to write the affidavit to mean that the job offers weren't explicitly tied to silence, but they were job offers. I think with this demands a big investigation. But let's see, do we have time for any calls? Yeah, let's take a call from Perry. Perry in Kissimmee, Florida. You're on with Walter Williams at EIB, sitting in for Rush.
Kissimmee.
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 What did I say? Did I say Kissimmee? Did I say Kissimmee?
Kissimmee, it depends on where you're from. Some people pronounce Kissimmee, others say Kissimmee.
Okay.
What I called about is earlier you made a statement that there are colleges that are having their students stand up and say I'm homosexual even though they're not.
Yeah.
Now,
that was Harvard University.
All right. Now, who is this going to benefit? Is this supposed to benefit people to accept something that 90% of Americans deem as immoral behavior?
Well, it's a liberal harebrained scheme. If you go around to colleges around the United States, you find that there are many problems on college campuses, and a lot of them have to do with issues of race, and they revolve around sensitivity. And in some ways, I think this is kind of good that this happens at college campuses, because the college campus can be a laboratory to see whether this nonsense works before we impose it on the rest of society. But if you look at the evidence, at colleges where they do not have the sensitivity training, the courses on requiring students to take ethnic studies and other nonsense, you have fewer racial incidents. The very colleges that have all these programs, that's where the racial incidents occur, like Columbia, University of Massachusetts, Harvard, Yale, Berkeley, at all the
primarily liberal colleges. Yeah.
Liberal colleges, yes.
I can understand. I didn't get a chance to go to college. I was too busy getting shot at.
Well, you ought to try.
I think.
You ought to try it. It's entertaining.
One other question I have for you. Does you remember the vote on Amendment 2 in Colorado?
Yes, I do.
Now, how is it that one man, a judge, can say that the majority of the population in Colorado cannot pass a law? I thought this was still American democracy. In democracy, the majority rules.
The people in Colorado, they're going to test that. I'm very sure that the Attorney General of the state of Colorado, she is going to bring it to a higher court and ultimately will come to the Supreme Court.
Okay, but that's still saying that the majority in Colorado can't get their voice out.
Well, if it indeed violates the Constitution, well, then majority should not rule. That is, the people in Colorado, they could vote to say, well, that there should not be any more free speech, but that'd be a violation of the Constitution. So the majority rule does not necessarily establish what's constitutional.
Yeah, this is true, but still, I was taught all my life that homosexuality was no different from necrophilia and pedophilia and all the other abhorrent sexual behaviors.
You sound politically incorrect.
I'm very politically incorrect.
well, look, hold on to your principles, because I personally think that homosexuality is wrong, but at the same time, I can think that if we can be tolerant of the voluntary behavior of other people, but that does not mean that we have to accept it and condone it.
This is very true. Okay, thank you much.
And thanks a lot for calling. The rest of you folks out there, you hang on, and I'm going to try to get, there are no women calling. I like to talk to women more so than men, but you guys, Jim and Frank, and Frank once asked me a very, very important question. I think I'm going to pick him up after the break. Okay, so just hang on out there, Frank and Jim. We're going to get around to you. Okay.
Did you know that a car is stolen every 20 seconds? Don't gamble that yours will be next. With a proven anti-theft deterrent, the Club, you can reduce the chances by a staggering 99%, according to the statistics from McAllen, Texas. Why the Club? The Club's tough to defeat, easy to use, strong as nails, inexpensive, guaranteed, and the Club is available everywhere. If you truly want to protect your car or truck from being stolen, ask yourself this. Police say use it. Auto thieves say don't use it. Who do you believe? Don't be fooled by imitators. Remember, it must say the Club on the handle.
So, Bob, do you have the list of candidates to replace Logan as department head?
Yes, sir, right here. First on the list is Cummings. Highly qualified, plenty of experience.
How old is Cummings these days?
He's 57.
I think that's a little OLD, don't you? Who else is on the list?
Gonzalez.
We can move on.
Why?
His last name, Gonzalez. I don't think we need any of that here.
Well, then there's Tyler, a real go-getter.
A woman as department head? I don't think so.
Alrighty. What about Gardner? Works long hours, knows the department.
Oh, don't tell me you don't know about Gardner.
What?
The man is lighting the loafers. Get my drift?
Well, that doesn't really matter.
Oh, sure. Next thing we know, the whole department would be overrun with them.
All right. I've always liked Richardson. He's worked his way up, helped reorganize...
Bob, in case you haven't noticed, he's black.
So?
He'll slow the whole department down.
He's one of the best workers we have.
Who's left?
Simpson.
He's a mathematical genius, but in that wheelchair, I don't think so.
Well, that's the whole list.
A department filled with people and not one of them is qualified. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
The Leadership Conference Education Fund and the Advertising Council remind you that our strength, our progress depend on our diversity.
When you can't breathe, it doesn't matter who you are, or where you were born, or who you know, or how much money you make. When you can't breathe, the only thing that matters is your next breath. Since 1904, the American Lung Association has fought lung disease such as tuberculosis, emphysema, lung cancer, and asthma. With your help, the American Lung Association can continue to provide funds for research, and they can keep on working to keep our air clean. In short, they can continue to help adults and children lead healthy lives. But the American Lung Association would not and could not make a difference without support from people like you. And people like you can reach out to us by simply looking in the white pages for the phone number of your local lung association. Support the American Lung Association, because when you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
Free Willy, free Willy, free Willy, free Willy, free Willy, free
Free Willie, free
Capital Pictures presents the heartwarming story of the product of an oppressive society.
It wasn't his fault. It was just too much violence in the media.
Free Willie Horton.
The fault has to lie squarely on Reagan and Bush.
Hear the expert testimony of psychiatrists and social workers.
A few $1 billion more in social programs, and we could have saved him.
Free Willie Horton, where a psychopathic murderer is unfairly portrayed as a psychopathic murderer by a gang of unscrupulous Republicans. Free Willie Horton.
Free Willie, free Willie, free Willie, free Willie.
Free Willie Horton. The nightmare continues. Coming soon to a theater near you.
Here to call. It's 800-282-2882. You know, they have a better monitor since the last time I was here. It's a kind of monitor for senior citizens. It has larger words. And matter of fact, I'm looking at the monitor and no words are misspelt this time. Now, before the break, we promised, let me see, Frank. Come on in, Frank.
Hi there.
How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing okay.
Frank is from Valley City,
North Dakota.
Boy, it looked like an M.
Okay.
Okay, they still have to get bigger letters on here, but anyway, how you doing out there in North Dakota?
Well, it's pretty cold, 23 below last night.
Is that the wind chill factor or actual?
No, that's not with the wind chill. Luckily, there's not much wind today.
Oh, well, good. Well, welcome aboard. Now, what do you want to ask me?
I'm a math...
No, wait a minute. I'm going to speak like we're so you guys don't miss Rush. What do you want to ask me?
I'm a mathematics professor. And first of all, I want to say it's an honor to talk to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
And economics certainly is a bit outside my area of study. But I've been trying over the past few years to learn more and more about economics. In part, I want to make sure that I can place my conservative viewpoints on a sure footing. And so I study. And I'd like your viewpoint on one thing in particular that I'll describe here. It seems to me that much of the dialogue nowadays between conservatives and liberals has its roots in an analysis of the Great Depression and what happened. Did capitalism fail in the 1930s or not? My view is that the account of economists like Milton Friedman is correct, that capitalism did not fail, and that in fact it was government that intervened in just exactly the direction opposite from what it should have intervened.
That's absolutely correct, Frank. And Milton Friedman makes a very, very strong case for this. And it turned out that it was the Federal Reserve Bank, to a large extent. It turned a tiny economic downturn into a big economic downturn by either increasing the money supply at the wrong time or decreasing the money supply at the wrong time.
Okay.
And so, and matter of fact, capitalism has been the source of wealth all over the world, and this is why people are trying to imitate it now. They're finding out that that socialism is a bankrupt idea, and Marxism and socialism, it only has respectability on college campuses and in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you say that. Yeah, it seems to me that, historically, as I look back at the discussions among economists, it seems that the Great Depression really has just served as the occasion for a bunch of political theorists, not primarily economists, political theorists who were able to dress up their arguments in economic lingo.
Yes, they want to use it as an excuse, and politicians love economists that give them excuse for more power and more spending.
Sure.
And they're the ones invited to Washington. I'm never invited to Washington. I mean, once in a while I give testimony in Congress, and sometimes there's many people coming to hear my testimony, and they're not coming for erudition. I believe that they just come and they're making side bets. Will Williams be arrested this time? Because I talk honestly to the people in Congress. I tell them that they're in the business of taking property that belongs to one American and giving it to another American to whom it does not belong. And when people do this privately, we call it theft.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear somebody is out there spreading that word. You see, as I said, I'm in mathematics, and in mathematics we get spoiled because in mathematics we actually prove things.
well, you have some hard rules.
You've got hard rules.
And you have inherently testable hypotheses as well.
That's right, but maybe it's difficult to carry that kind of precision over into other areas of study, but I always seek it out.
It's difficult. It's difficult. But hang in there, Frank, and thanks for calling in.
Okay.
Let's go to Jim. Jim from Albany, New York.
Good afternoon, Walter. What a pleasure it is to speak to you.
Hi.
I wanted to make you aware of a situation. I think it's kind of a little bit reverse segregation. The administration at Albany, which is a state university here in Albany, they said that statistics have shown that black male students who are thrown in with the regular student population as far as dorm assignments, meaning they're probably assigned with white students or with not a large population of other black male students around them, they have said that those students face a higher failure rate, course failure rate, a higher dropout rate, and higher disciplinary rates than the student body as a whole. And their solution to this, to try to alleviate the problem, is to assign black male freshman students in their dormitory assignments to the same dorm or to the same section so that they are together. And they have said that this has decreased the failure rate, the dropout rate, and the disciplinary rate lower. And I wanted your opinion on that.
Well, what you're citing is an empirical question, whether it has in fact done this. But
well, we're only going by what they say.
but many schools, your institution, the CUNY at Albany, it's not the only school that segregates students for. Not just for that reason. They have separate dorms, separate fraternity houses on college campuses, and students decide to eat separately by race in many places.
This is not a question of them deciding this. The university is saying, because you're a black male student and you haven't made a preference as to where you want to dorm, we're going to assign you with others like you.
I think that it's despicable. One of the big reasons why black students face problems when they go to colleges, many black students, is because of the fraudulent education that they get in the government schools, and this leads to other problems such as a sense of feeling not worth as much as other students. You know, and typically you find a lot of the racial problems at some of our most prestigious campuses like Harvard, Yale, and Berkeley. And these schools are some top schools in the country, and what they do in order to keep their federal money, they will go to the poor black communities just for bodies, and they'll bring these students up to the school where they're way over their heads academically sometimes, and they flunk out. My colleague, I'm hoping to have my colleague Thomas Sowell talk about this in his new book, Inside Education, but it's a devastating story. For example, if you're white, there's not much of a chance for you to get into MIT because MIT students are roughly the top 10%. Now, you take black students who have had a poor education, you bring them to a school like this, they're bound to fail. It's somewhat like you're saying to me, well, look, Walter, how about teach me how to box? And the first fight I get you is with Mike Tyson. Well, you'll get your brains blown out before you even learn how to bob and weave. And this is what these schools are doing. There's a huge mismatch going on in our college system.
Right, and that's the question. What happens to if these students do get through college, and whether they can or not is not the point. When they get through the college, when they get employed by IBM or General Electric, and they're saying, well, what's going to happen when they get out in the real world? That's the question.
Well, this is one of the problems. We blame everything on racism in the country. That is, when the kids go to college, well, the reason why they're not doing well in college, according to the civil rights establishment, is because we have these European standards. We have racist standards. And so they start attacking the standards rather than saying, well, look, I have a rotten education. I need some remedial work. Maybe I shouldn't be here in the first place. They instead attack the standards. Then they make phony courses like African-American courses or other Mickey Mouse courses to accommodate these academically weak students. And so it just goes on and on. Then when these students get out and they're academically weak, they find they can't get a job, and then that's racism as well. Well, look, thanks for calling in, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with some more of your calls, and the number is 800-282-2882. This is Walter Williams sitting in for Rush Limbaugh.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hello, you people. Rush Limbaugh here. You know, it's alarming but true. People do judge you by the words you use. When you speak well, you command respect. You move ahead faster. Verbal Advantage, Achievement Dynamics' best-selling audio cassette word power program, will give you the words you need to communicate with confidence and flair. And with Verbal Advantage, all you have to do is listen. To learn more, call now. 1-800-28-TAPES. That's 800-28-TAPES.
I was shocked when I heard I had an ulcer. I take ulcer medicine to heal it. Sometimes, though, certain food gives me indigestion. Doc said, you also need an antacid, like Riopan. Well, Riopan Plus 2 is a no-nonsense antacid.
Teaspoon per teaspoon, nothing is stronger than the special antacid formula of Riopan Plus 2.
Riopan does a job on indigestion and heartburn. I take it seriously.
For strong relief, get Riopan relief. Ask your doctor. Use as directed.
Buick Skylarks from $99.80.
Yeah, right.
Buick Centuries from $10,450.
Sure. Who believes that? And what about the rest of the story? You'll have to haggle with the salesperson. You'll only get a good price if you're really lucky. They'll only give you $100 in trade. Sounds familiar, right? Not at Courtesy Buick in Goldsboro. We sell cars a different way, a better way, the no-hassle way, with our best bottom-line prices marked right on a great selection of program cars. At Courtesy, Skylark program cars really are priced from $99.80, Regals from $11,980, Park Avenues from just $18,950. And at Courtesy in Goldsboro, you don't have to negotiate or hassle over price ever. Shop for your next car the no-hassle way at Courtesy Buick on Highway 70 East Bypass in Goldsboro, the only no-hassle Buick dealer in North Carolina. Tax tags and $129 dock fee are extra.
Too busy to work?